Oh my God, I read TikTok's terms of service.
I don't think enough people are talking about the fact that 535 elected officials sat in a room and the only thing they could collectively agree on was not minimum wage, was not the border crisis, was not inflation, was not healthcare, was not helping out with the homeless problem. No, the only thing that they could all collectively agree upon that was a problem for America was banning the app TikTok. So while millions of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, can barely afford rent, and are honestly struggling just to make it on a daily basis, these elected officials would not only rather take down the platform where these people can go and voice their disdain about what these officials that we elected are doing, but those also elected officials that we put into power care way more about making sure that their pockets are full so they can be richer than they need to, while a majority of us can barely afford eggs. So,
the only thing all 535 members in Congress can agree on is to ban TikTok. That's it. That's the only thing. I heard him talking about raising the minimum wage. I can agree on that. Heard about talking about trying to keep prescription drug prices low for people. Nope, can't agree on that. I heard him talking about the border. Can't agree. Can't even agree where the fucking border is. But when it comes to banning TikTok, line up, buddies. Bring that.
Yes, before we proceed with the videos, this lady wrote if they can do this to TikTok, they will do it to X or any social media app they are accused of being influenced by foreign adversary. Remember, Congress never proved TikTok was sending data to the CCP. They only speculated that they could. It's not about your safety, it is about their control, and they are losing it. This lady actually is going viral after, pouring her frustrations after this bill was passed. Even Nancy Pelosi is extremely happy. Like, if China control the algorithm, then we are at your wheels. That is according to Nancy Pelosi. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. It will do you no harm if you share out this video.
The TikTok bill did pass the House with 15 nays from the Republicans and 50 nays from the Democrats. Everybody else, though, voted yay. The nays came from the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
If we wanted to be serious about stopping a foreign adversary, if we wanted to be serious about stopping China, we would stop China from buying our U.S. farmland. We would raise up our American energy independence. We would also stop the Green New Deal and not rely on China, who owns and operates 85% of the battery market worldwide. There are dangers that lie ahead in this. This is really about controlling Americans' data.
And Democratic freshman Robert Garcia.
But I disagree with this approach and bill that could impact 170 million Americans who use TikTok. 1/3 of all U.S. adults use the app, and millions of entrepreneurs and small business owners use the platform to support their family. And yes, just like every other social media platform, there is misinformation and privacy concerns on TikTok, and I share those. However, it's important that we don't treat TikTok differently than other platforms. If we're going to address this issue, we've got to take the same approach to all social media platforms. We can't just single out one.
This sets it up for the Senate to vote probably early next week, and they're going to have a hard time getting it through. More and more senators themselves have come out and stated that they do not support this bill, with the biggest mouthpiece being, again, Rand Paul, who has been blowing up X the last couple days with a breakdown of what this bill actually is and what the agenda is behind it. Things like they want to ban TikTok because it's owned by China. That's not true. 60% of the company is owned by the US and international investors. 20% is owned by company founders. 20% is owned by company employees, including over 7,000 Americans. The CEO of TikTok is from Singapore, not China. So
yes, I've seen a lot of people coming out to say the banning of TikTok is not just what you think. Trump came out recently and actually talked against it, that banning TikTok is giving more money to Mark Zuckerberg. A lot of people are wising up, and Vivek went off. Elon Musk actually agree with that, like they don't want TikTok to be banned. Ask yourself, why is this happening?
President Trump just came out against a legislative measure that would require the owner of TikTok to divest it. It's currently a Chinese owner, a company called ByteDance, or else that it would be banned in the United States. President Trump just came out opposing that. I think that's the right decision, actually, of President Trump to oppose that legislation because it doesn't make any sense. And I've long said this, even late in the campaign, took a lot of heat from fellow Republicans. But I think we have to ask ourselves the why. And this is the problem with professional politicians. President Trump isn't a professional politician, and neither am I. But many people in professional politics, they look at what they're supposed to say and they act like billiard balls on a pool table. They go in whatever direction they're hit without thinking about the actual why. It's a problem even in the Republican Party. Let's take a step back and ask about the why of what's going on here. What's the real concern that people have with TikTok? Well, one is it's an addictive problem in kids. It's not just TikTok. That applies to a bunch of other social media platforms as well. And that is an issue we need to tackle, but it's not specific to one platform. I do think there should be age-based restrictions on using addictive social media. But that's not a TikTok-specific point. This point about the divestment relates to a different concern. The use and provision of data, U.S. user data, potentially to the Chinese Communist Party. And I think that is a major concern. But here's the rub. It isn't limited to just TikTok or even Chinese-owned companies in the U.S. It expands to include even so-called U.S. companies that are still beholden to the CCP because they do business in China. Here's an example. A couple of years ago, there was good Wall Street Journal reporting on the fact that Airbnb, a U.S. company, supposedly U.S. company at least, was providing U.S. user data to the CCP.
Somebody tweeted this: China banned our social network from their citizens. If you visit China, you cannot get on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, yet you want to give China a huge marketing vehicle to sell its shit to us, but in a way that we can't sell our shit to them. I attended briefing on Classify and Classify about TikTok. I review articles and watch hearing videos about TikTok. Unless new information is presented to me, my position is as follows. I will vote no on any attempt to ban TikTok from Americans who choose to use it. A lot of people have not seen this. These influencers are packed on TikTok. Now they are extremely angry with Biden agreeing he will, ban TikTok if this bill is passed. Liberals are freaking out. Trump came out recently like, I'm in favor of it. TikTok should not be banned.
The vote this morning was a vote to protect the national security of our country and the privacy of our citizens. I pointed out at the time that the TikTok in China broadcast into Taiwan that the Uyghurs love what the Chinese are doing. It's genocide. The people in Hong Kong love the crushing of their democracy in Hong Kong. And the Tibetans talked about how they are suppressed on TikTok there and how they are misrepresented on TikTok there. So for these and other reasons, this is about human rights and privacy and democracy. But most importantly, if the Chinese government, as it does with ByteDance and its partnership, controls the algorithm, we are at their mercy. If they control the data, the privacy data of our people, we are at their mercy.
Oh my God. I read TikTok's terms of service. I went down a TikTok rabbit hole yesterday.
Yeah, it's good.
I stayed home, smoked a little. This is so crazy.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
So what are you saying? It's a bad place to be?
It said, we collect certain information about the device you use to access the platform, such as your IP address, user region. This is really crazy.